Today on You're Buying a Home with Silas Lindenstein, we're talking about 5 ways for buyers to win in multiple offer situations. Hello, everybody, and welcome to You're Buying a Home with Silas Lindenstein. I am your host, Silas Lindenstein. Thank you so much for joining me today. Episode number 25. Episode number 25, titled 5 Ways for Buyers to Win in Multiple Offer Situations. This episode is inspired by these many multiple offer situations that are still happening, regardless of what is happening in our world today. Before we get to that, introduce myself. My name is Silas Lindenstein. I am a real estate agent with Skyline Properties out here in the Seattle, Washington area. But if you are not from Seattle, that's okay. This podcast is still for you. This podcast is dedicated to empowering and educating home buyers all across the nation. So don't worry. I've got great information from you. Everything in this today you can use everywhere around the U.S. Mostly. But yes, you can use, and you can always double check with your local real estate professional if that is, if this is something that is possible, someone you're going to be using. Speaking of, if you are anywhere in the United States, I have a network of real estate professionals that I like to recommend. And so if you're out there and you're looking for an agent, you want to interview one, or you want to just get hooked up with one, send me an email. Send me an email to silas@silasgetsreal.com and let me know what city you're in, and I will go ahead and find you an agent. There's probably one that I'm already connected with, and if not, I've got some good referrals. I just connected somebody to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hello, out there. Everywhere. I'm surprised how many agents I know. Anyway, and I'll hook you up with someone. And we'll make everybody's life happy. And also, if this is your first time coming to this, and what you're looking for is sort of a buyer's guide. I have one on PDF, the ultimate guide to buying a home. I can email that to you. If you just email me at silas@silasgetsreal.com, all I ask for you to tell me what city you're in. And I'm trying to get a sense of where I'm sending these so that maybe I can tailor stuff to you down the road. And then if you want an audio version of this, actually, the first 10 episodes of this podcast is an audio version of that. I've broken it into 10 different steps. And so you can listen to it or you can read the PDF. Either one of those is fine. So just email me and I'll get that out to you. All right. Awesome. So let's get on to today's topic. 5 ways for buyers to win in a multiple offers situation. So first off, you're wondering, how do you know if it's multiple offers? With your market, the price, your agent should be able to tell you, we're probably going to be looking at multiple offers for this. Or the agent will give them a call and say, do you have any other offers yet? And they may say yes or no, or they're expecting. If it's been sitting on the market a while, probably not, unlikely. But here's those homes. You walk into the home and you want that home and you're like, oh, we got to get this. Now, some of this is going to be about money and your buying power. And hopefully, if you're qualified for $600,000, you aren't just looking at $600,000 homes, that you're looking, maybe $550,000 or maybe even $500,000. So that you have some power to go over to compete against other people, and not just an offer price. There's other ways you can do this, I'll admit, some of these do require money, or they require, I don't know, not faith or confidence, I guess. These are just 5. There's other things on there. I'll probably do another episode with 5 other things to win in a multiple offer situation. But these are ones that I've recently come across in this market in the east side, Bellevue. They use a lot of little tricks to try to get into these homes. And It's a little more competitive in some ways at these high dollar homes, which are you're competing. Okay, so here's the problem: if you're competing against a lot of people who, if you are buying at 600, you can't go any higher, right? That's your qualification. But if you're competing against other people who are qualified for higher, then it's harder to compete against them because they can just, make another offer. They can make an offer that's higher than you, and that's not much you can do about that. So that's why it's good to go for a little under, unless, the house hasn't sold, and then might just be able to sneak in there. But so here's some tricks. Number one, increase earnest money. Now, as you know, the earnest money is that good faith money that you put down to say, hey, if everything checks out, we're going to buy this and we won't just walk away, right? Normally it's recommended in the Seattle area, 1 to 3%. That's pretty normal. You could check your agent to see what's normal in your area. Here it's 1 to 3%, and it's kind of because it's high dollar. Sometimes even just 1, but anywhere in that range. Now, so let's say I don't know where my listeners are here, so I'm just going to go in the middle, right? $300,000, right? Normal. Let's say your normal is like 1% down, 3,000. Right? So maybe if you have the cash, go for 9 or 15. Let me tell you a trick. In Washington State, you cannot, the earnest money, I could put $150,000 in earnest money for that, right? For this home. But by law, they'd have to release all but 5% if things failed in the end, right? And I was walking away from the deal. They can't keep more than 5% by law in Washington. I don't know what your state you're listening in is rule, but you can offer that just for the sort of the greed. Well, okay, it's greed and it shows your earnestness is where the word comes from. One, the people think, if they walk away, I'm still going to get 10,000 out of here. Or let's say you went over, you're like, we want this house and we're going to use this for a down payment anyway. And all this money for an earnest money goes toward your down payment. And I'm confident in my realtor. I'm confident in the sale going through. So I'm going to put up $15,000 because we're going in with 3% anyway. Right. Or we're going in with 4%. So we're going to put in $15,000 in earnest money. Then the seller's thinking, well, if it doesn't go through, I still got $15,000. I can pay the mortgage, gives me some more time to remarket the house, that kind of thing. Okay. Second is mentally, it just shows that you are invested in this and you're willing to, you were serious about this house because you're willing to tie up that much money, the 15,000. So that's number one. It's good. Number two, and it connects to earnest money. Offer to release all or part of the earnest money at certain points. So you could say you are putting 15,000 down, right? Because you're pressing hard on this home, right? You say, not only will I put 15,000 down, I will also release $10,000 of this after the inspection, and I will say $10,000. If this doesn't happen, you can just have it, right? Now, there's a risk here, right? This is a risk. This is a hard play. If it doesn't appraise, right, then they could, if you don't work out a negotiation with them, you're out the money. Some people out here, they'll do other things I'm about to talk about in a minute. But so you have to be okay really putting that money at risk if something else goes wrong in this. And but it gets you the house, right? Or maybe you do 5,000 you're willing to release. It all depends on the money that you're comfortable with. You'll offer them up. That shows a real commitment to making sure you want the house. Some people, I recently went up with somebody. Oh my gosh, this was ridiculous. This was $40,000 they had in earnest money. and they said they would release it upon mutual acceptance. So basically, they were giving him $40,000 if they just accepted the offer. They had already had an inspection, so pre-inspection, so they weren't worried about that. So they had so much money that they were that their loan was in such good condition that they weren't worried about it appraising or anything like that. So it's a big, bold move, but you can do it. This is what people are doing. I'm certainly not something I recommend to all my clients, but the ones that have a little bit of more cash who are not risk averse, here's something we can do. Number 3, waive contingencies. So the 2 big contingencies that show up: inspection, appraisal. Now, inspection's the easy one, right? Now, you can do things like you can waive the inspection, but as a real estate professional, I am not recommending that. Just bottom line, as a cover my a CYA. Okay, I can't tell you to not do an inspection, but I will tell you successful people find ways. They either do a pre-inspection, so they basically hire an inspector to come inspect the place, and if they get it, so they pay an inspector, and then they're like, oh, okay, I know what's wrong with this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put an offer on it. Now, the risk there is you're basically spending money just to basically apply for the home, right? But the thing is, if it's a multiple offer situation and they're doing pre-inspections, allowing pre-inspections to happen, if 3 of the people have done a pre-inspection, you haven't, they're probably, unless your offer is a lot higher, they're not going to take it. So you got to do something else, like you release earnest money, increase earnest money, or raise the price of the house. If you're going to do the inspection, other people aren't. Another thing, you'll see a lot of homes actually have pre-done inspections. A lot more people are doing that. If they don't want to have like 20 people come into the house to inspect it, they might pay for one. And I know people worry about that sometimes. They're like, well, it's not my inspector, so I want my own. I mean, inspectors can get in a lot of trouble, for not for hiding stuff, or the seller could, and they want referrals. So they're not gonna, most inspectors are not gonna they are sort of the third party. They are supposed to be. I get why people are upset or hesitant about going off of it, but it's something to consider. So if they've already have an inspection and they're offering it, they're putting it out on the table there and saying, this is what we know is wrong with it. And, make your offer based on that. So they also don't, if they did accept your inspection, if you got into the house and did your own inspection, you kind of can't ask for those items to be fixed, because they'll be like, you already knew about it. So don't expect them to be into that unless your inspector finds something that was totally missed. Right. So but if you waive that inspection, which you can, if you've had it pre-inspected, you can just say, well, we already had it pre-inspected, so I don't need that contingency in there. That also shows a sincereness to want to buy the house. And so you can beat someone else out. You can beat someone else out that's offered higher, possibly, by waiving it. The big thing to waive is the appraisal. If you waive appraisal, so it's saying like you put an offer in for $300,000, but the house only comes in at $290,000. You won't be able to ask them to lower the price. You'd have to come up with the $10,000 yourself. So you're not willing to walk away, that you won't walk away from the house at that, theoretically, right? So waiving those in a multiple offer situation, when you get like 10 offers in, that can do it. The risks, you take a risk doing that. I've waived appraisal on one house. That was nerve-wracking. That was nerve-wracking for me more than my clients. I don't know. I don't want I didn't want that to happen. It made it. So we're good. Number 4, escalation price. So these aren't legal in every state, but they are legal in, I believe, a majority of states. Let's say it's priced at $300,000 and you are looking, you're approved for more. You can say like, you know what? I'll pay up to $340,000 for this home. And that's your cap. So what you do is you write the offer, say it's for $300,000. The escalation addendum says, I will pay X amount of dollars over someone else's price up to $340,000. So the X price. And here's where I'm different. Some people say, how about I want the lowest price possible for the house, right? So they say, I'll pay $1,000 more over the other price, over anyone else. $1,000 is honestly not very much in buying a house in that regard. So a offer for $301 versus $300 is the same offer in all practical purposes. So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more, but if they could end up liking someone's story more, or they did something else in the offer that's going to make it not matter, it becomes a coin flip in that point, right? So what I recommend to clients is to go for a bigger number, like $5,000. So if someone comes in at $3,000, you'll pay $305,000. The reason is the psychological thing. It's hard to leave $5,000 on the table for someone else. $1,000 is a little easier, but a $305,000 or a full $5,000, no, or $10,000, you're willing to pay more for the house. Yes. If you're asking in your head, someone right now is thinking, well, then I'm paying more than I had to for the house. Yes, you are, but you're getting the house. You make sure you go way over people. You show you are serious about this house. I want this house. I will pay this much more for the house. It's an aggressive move. You can talk to your lender to see what the price difference is on that. But are you willing to spend, say, an extra $30 a month? It's going to cost you $30 more a month than you would have had to spend. Maybe. And you get the house. For all you know, the next house you're going to end up spending $340,000 anyway, right? So you don't know, but the best you can do is go for the house that you want aggressively. And so that's why I recommend that. Psychologically, they can't leave it on the table. They're going to take the $5,000. Even if someone else writes a nice letter and includes pictures of puppies, they're like, puppies are cute. I can buy a lot of puppies from the pound because I rescue animals for $5,000. I can do that. So that's my recommendation. Number 5, boring one. This is kind of boring, and really depends on your bank, but a short closing. People respond very well to short closings. Normal closing, I've talked about on here, is between 30 to 40 days. There are some banks, credit unions, that can get it done quick. There's a lender out here that I work with. I worked with recently that said they can close in 3 weeks. The person has to be fully pre-approved first. They had a definite approval. But when they have that, they can do 3-week closing. And that isn't a huge advantage because people want to close it as quick as possible. They know you're going to be serious and get it out of there, get her done. And they will do that. So just cutting it down a week, some can do it in 2. One of the reasons people love these cash deals, besides it's cash, is that it's all over in like a week, maybe 2. The money just transfers and it's done. And it's quick. It's off the market. Nothing happens. People don't like every week that a house is on the market longer. It adds to days on. There's always a chance someone might lose their job or some weird thing's going to happen. So it's, they want it. They want that closing to happen. So yeah, that's it. Those are my 5. I got a lot more, but I can't give it to you all at once. It's going to be a future episode. But for right now, that's the program. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hey, if you get this from iTunes, could you please give us a 5-star rating? I'd really appreciate that. Go up there, leave a 5-star review, and if I like, I'll read it on the air for you. How about that? And of course, if you are in the Seattle, Washington area and you are looking for a home, please give me a call at 206-351-9230 or email me at silas@silasgetsreal.com. And of course, anywhere else in the nation as well, I'll hook you up with a wonderful referral. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the show. It means a lot. And, happy house shopping.